Hey, everybody. Welcome to Strain on Society. I'm PaulEHendricks, and are y'all ready to go? I have a great guest I'm going to have on the show today. His name is JRod. I know JRod through the bearding community. That's where we've met, although I haven't seen him in several years. He lives in Oklahoma and definitely has been a cannabis user, fan, and advocate for a long time. And once it became legal in Oklahoma, he now works at a dispensary, and I know he's loving it. He's got one of the best Facebook profiles as far as cannabis goes, watching everything that he has coming into the dispensary, and he takes a lot of pictures of the buds. Plus, he smokes a lot of them as well as dabs. So I'm looking forward to having him. He's going to be on here pretty soon. And while I wait for him to come on, besides talking to JRod, I also am going to be trying out a new strain for me to review. It is called Whitefire OG. And I'm a little confused by it because I looked at, as I always look up and do the research on these, I'm finding out a little different information. So for one, if you go to Leafly, which I use often, it says the strain is a sativa. If you go to WikiLeaf, which I also use often, they both have apps, it says it's a 60-40 indica. So I don't know. I've never smoked it. Maybe some of y'all know, maybe JRod will know, and we'll get clarity on that. But it doesn't matter if indica, heavy, or because they both had this similar explanations that it is an uplifting weed. It's an uplifting flower. The high is uplifting. It makes you feel happy. It's good for depression. It's good for creativity. It's good for all the same things that sativas are. And yet it's still, depending on where you look, it could be an indica. I don't know. And really what I care about is, does it get me high? Do I feel good after I smoke it? That's my number one concern. It's always my number one concern. Baldini, the light shows right on it. Might as well call me Herbaldo. Don't. If you're going to call me anything, call me extraordinary, because in Paul E. Hendricks, the E stands for extraordinary. Unless you want to be a dick about it, then it's Eric. But so far, most people are pretty extraordinary about it. My one friend Eric was a little irritated, with the poke at the name Eric. It's a beautiful name, Eric. I know. It just started as a joke a long time ago, and then was ruined, coincidentally by a white dude. Yeah, go figure. Cis white dude. Yeah, go figure. Taking over everything. I mean, he's a school teacher, works with children, but you know how those school teachers are with all that government money coming in and teaching your little fucking brats. Anywho, while I wait for JRod, I should pay attention when he's coming on here. He did tell me he's going to be a little late, which is perfectly fine. Let me talk a little bit about this strain while I'm here. It says Whitefire. Like I said, also WikiLeaf, 60-40 indica. Leafly just says it's a sativa. So what else do we know about Whitefire? It's a cross between Fire OG and the White. Speaking of the whites, I'm going to see what the aromas are, what the terpenes are. It's also called Wi-Fi OG. So maybe you've heard of that, but man, the comments and reviews people have given this strain are amazing. Like people say it's their favorite strain. A lot of people say it's a strain that they smoke over and over again. Some people said it was their favorite strain. I haven't had it, so I'm kind of stoked. As I wait, I'm gonna fucking light it up because I don't give a. I'm gonna smoke it. That's what. Oh. Pardon me. Well, looks like somebody got a little too excited. Dropped this lighter. That's okay. Let's see what this bitch is all about. My other joint. I also, if you watched any of my episodes, this is going to come on in a couple weeks. So I had a friend gift to me from Portland. He brought me back some BB Smash Keef, which is really good. So that's in some of here, but I didn't lace it till the bottom half because I wanted to get the flavor profile so I could share that with you. Okay, let's light this bastard up. Gassy. Whew, that's my first really gassy. Earthy, you know, that terpene that every cannabis has, that earthy, mushroomy, definitely a lot of that with a gassy taste too. Myrcene, I don't know, something like that. That's the earthy one. For you scientists, I like it. Just gassies I usually put with indicas, so I don't know. I am looking for the effects. We've been working all the weekend long. I'm also in Bully Ranch. Me and my wife are the co-founders of it, and president of the board. She's vice president of the board, along with our friend Good Taylor. We had a board meeting this morning around 11. And this, I'm recording this the weekend of Thanksgiving. You'll be seeing this a couple of weeks, or not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And we're doing a huge Black Friday sale through Cyber Monday. Everything was on sale on our website. We've been selling out of pretty much medium through XL, and a lot of the designs are gone already. And it's recent Saturday, and we started it on Thursday, which is great. We're also participating in Giving Friday. You guys will be seeing after this, but it's a Bully Ranch is a pit bull rescue, and what we do is we rescue dogs. We particularly focus. Our organization focuses on hard luck dogs, kind of, you know, abused dogs, but dogs with trauma, dogs that were used in fighting rings, things like that. And we focus on that. And ironically, the last group of dogs we had taken, we still have one of them here, and that was the weekend after Thanksgiving in 2019. And we'd never seen a dog more traumatized by humans in our life. So she's been with us for a year now. And we're still, she went from a zombie dog that didn't know how to dog, just terrified, would completely disassociate with us when we first got our humans, not our dogs. And step by step, and we're working with behaviorists also, we're trainers, and patience, lots of patience and love. And whereas she was before, now she hangs out with us. She's currently sitting in the bedroom, in our bedroom, laying on the bed with my wife. She plays. She loves being outside, loves going to the park, loves playing fetch by herself, loves playing with her dogs, loves my wife, tolerates me. Go figure. Man, I'm glad we didn't have fucking children. You know what I mean? This beard needs some work. Help us. God help us. Yeah, JRod. No, JRod's not there yet. Off of this, my immediate reaction to this interesting flavor. I know, if you know me, you know I love citrus. I love sweet. I love those, and I love them, and I attach them to a lot of the sativas. I love Jack Hare, one of my favorite. I tried LSD this year. The strain. I've tried LSD many years ago, and still enjoy it from time to time. But it was a really good one. Ice cream, one of my favorite strains. It ended up being the 60-40 indica dominant. And almost all of them got a weird, unique taste. I like the fruities. Ice cream definitely has a unique, gassy flavor that I really like, mixed with like vanilla. So good. But most of my favorite strains, I'd say, have a little bit more citrus. The terpenes are a little stronger in that area, and I like that. And this is definitely earthy, gassy, coats the inside of my mouth, all gassy. Every gassy strain I know coats the inside of my mouth with like this, excuse me, gassy, just that flavor profile just coated. It's weird, but I dig it. So I really like the flavor of this. I didn't mention, I want to say the average THC content for this particular strain for White Fire is 22%, which is way higher than the average. I think the average, what's the average anymore? I don't know, like 13%. I have no idea. I generally smoke highs. I smoke high level cannabis strains. So I get a little higher in the percentage. The average still is around 16, 17. I have been getting a lot of up above 20s. There's still a debate on does it make a difference. I like being stoned. So I'm always going to go ahead and I have, there's another question for JRod. I should be writing these down because by the time he comes on, I'm going to be high and forget. And I've been thinking about it. Oh, my joint's out. Oh, like the world, the sky's falling, except it's not. It's a really fucking great day. We had a great weekend. We've been so busy with the Black Friday sale, and we're so grateful too. We had so many people start ordering. We had great discounts, good for shopping, good for buying stuff for the people, but we've just been really busy. And we had a board meeting today. So, and we've had a lot of time to chill. Last night, my wife and I ate some edibles, and man, well, I don't remember. I was fucked up. One of my favorite things is edibles. I fell asleep. I woke up and the dogs, we had 3 dogs, my wife, we were all scattered about the living room on the couch. So we were on the couch and I ended up in a different recliner. And anyway, I woke up and everybody was gone. And I got up and I saw the light on the bedroom. My wife usually goes in there and reads before she goes to bed. And I was going in there and I was like stumble bumping. I was stumbling, bumped into the wall, got in the bedroom, like stumbled into the corner. And it was pretty funny. I was pretty high. And I woke up this morning early, per usual. Not like I've been getting up 4:30 in the 4:30 in the morning. Today, I think I woke up at I got up at 5, and I was like, "Dang, good." Cool. So I definitely getting high. I feel that weight coming up behind my eyes, that pressure. You know what I'm talking about. And then you start sweating right here in the. Oh, Lord knows I got enough of them. These deep circles under the eye that now become wedges when you get into your late 40s, and the water just pools there, and you know you're getting high, and then it looks like you're crying, but you're not. You're just really stoned. Now sometimes I'm crying. I mean, whoever. Now wasn't talking about me. Anyway, I feel a cry coming on now. Nothing. I'm gonna take a break. JRod will be here in a couple minutes, and I'll be right back with him. And still, until then, enjoy the commercial. Thanks for watching, and I'll be right back. Okay. All right.
Hey y'all, Doug Benson here. Watch Strain on Society with Paul E. Hendricks. Ambulance.
All right, I'm back with my guest JRod. Explain to everybody, JRod, that you lived in Oklahoma, and when did it become legal in Oklahoma? It's only been like 3 years, 2 years.
2 years. We're just coming over 2 years right now.
2018.
Yeah, we're living the dream up here. I mean, we went from worst to first. We really did.
Well, I mean, it's embarrassing as a Texan. Well, luckily, I'm not a Texan by blood, but it doesn't make me like old white Christian men any much more.
You Texans should be embarrassed by how bad we're spanking you with this.
Totally.
I mean, we're the 3rd largest medical marijuana market in the world.
God damn it, JRod. Nobody brought you. Texas didn't bring you out here to brag that we are getting
200 dispensaries in Tulsa. 200 dispensaries in Tulsa.
And now look at the states that just legalized. I mean, you got your South Dakota, Montana. I mean, we got way deeply conservative states that are fucking legalizing it. And when I'm sitting over here by just recording this, I record a podcast about cannabis,
living on the
strains, edge. And yeah, like I'm a fucking lawbreaker. It's ridiculous. And every one of I have a doctor, I have a psychiatrist, and a therapist, and all 3 of them agree that it should be legal, and they should have, not only should be legal, they should have the option to prescribe it.
For sure.
They don't like prescribing anxiety and all these pills that are fucking addictive as fuck, and that's where our true problem is in our country with opiates and shit, and that's perfectly legal for them. Yet Every one of them I know are, you know, I'm always been very open and honest about drug use or whatever. So they were all on board when I told them. I'd have told them whether they're on board or not. But the last time I saw you, I was thinking about it. So the Off the Facial Hair Club hosted the World Beard and Mustache Competition, hosted by or presented by Remington. And Beard Boss, or was it Remington Beard Boss? I don't remember. I was one of the MCs, and JRod and other homie were responsible for interviews on the backstage. And this was a pretty fucking big deal, right? Palmer Event Center, several days, indoor and outdoor activities, live music, people from all over the fucking world. And I just remember, who were you doing it with? Troy. Our man Troy that lives in Arkansas. And all I remember is the last day, ending up at the last bar with bands playing, and I was sitting there looking in my hand, and there was a pill of ecstasy that Troy had given me, and I was thinking, if I take this, I might die. That's the place where I was in my life, and I ended up not taking it because I thought I was walking that line of 3 days, and we all shared a dressing room, and it was debaucherous, and that was the last time I've seen you because you haven't been around any comps since then. But it was a fun fucking weekend, and I still just remember staring. I saw Bad Taylor sitting on the sidewalk, leaning up against the building with his head in his hands, and I was like, "Should I take this?" And I was like, "Man, I feel like I'm walking a line right now of one more thing. It's gonna might put me in a hospital." But it's good to see you again after 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while, bro. I totally retired. I haven't been to a single beard competition at all. There was a lot of negative things in the scene that I was just like, eh. And I mean, it's a lot of false hopes of where you're going with it, and some people do it for certain reasons, other people do it for other reasons, and I was just having fun the whole time, and it just kind of played its course, you know. I mean, tons of great people. I feel
very similar.
Yeah, tons of great people. Just, I mean, like my growing out my beard in some certain way isn't going to get me anything other than, you know, admiration from other beardos, which is great. Right. That's cool. But like, you know,
a fun weekend.
For sure. But I also got tired of having the same vacation over and over. It was like going to the same towns, seeing the same sights, getting drunk over and over and over. And like, I feel
very similar, man.
Yeah, I just want to do other stuff, you know.
Well, at least you were out when the whole thing, when the civil unrest started.
Right.
Because that was a big, I was just shaking my head like, so you know who we all raise money for, right? During all these charities. And am I seeing what I'm seeing? Like, and then it was gross to me. Yeah. And I don't care that much about a fucking beard. The last one I went to, I emceed nationals in Chicago last year and judged.
Nice.
And ended up having like a panic attack. And the last day we were there was a snowstorm and flights were getting canceled. I didn't have any cannabis left.
Oh my God.
And it was right before it was November. So it was right before this became legal. It was a nightmare. And
right.
And I just haven't, even this nationals they just did are still in the grips of, I believe I didn't MC it or anything. And it's just been focusing on things that I really want to do. And I don't know the beards ever really blew my skirt up. It was fun. And
it's a good group of dudes for sure. Like that's really it.
And I've met a lot of fucking super cool dudes.
Met some lifelong friends for sure.
That I'll still talk to. You, for instance, and I was explaining before I brought you on that you have one of my favorite Instagram accounts for any weed lover, because you were now Oklahoma's legal and you took full advantage of it.
I'm
deep in it, but your pictures like the colors, and I mean, it's one thing to notice cannabis flowers are beautiful, and you just show some, and I'm sitting there and literally like I'll feel, dude, are you? And I feel like I'm getting. I mean, I get all the stuff coming from a particular grower in California, and it's all top notch, good stuff, and then at the same time, you're holding it, and are you getting it directly from like the?
I work for a dispensary that has their own grow. They have their own grow. It's a single source, and they make their own for processing stuff.
Fresh, it looks like coming directly off.
I mean, it's as fresh as could be.
Yeah, sure. I could tell. I mean, it's sticky.
When you can see all the crystals intact all over the thing, I mean, it's something to behold.
I feel like a kid. I honestly feel like an adult. It is like a candy store. because I would just look at it and I'm like, I want that. And for a while,
Right.
I did a list of people I wanted to have on, and you were on it when I first started doing this. And then Adobe Premiere editing software, it doesn't like me. I think it's a baldest, and I mastered it, but I couldn't ever download anything from it because the rendering would fuck up the audio from the mouth moving. And so I did interviews, and I was just sitting on them, and now I'm actually editing this on like Windows 10 photo software, and it's amateur and it's easy. But now I was like, oh, I can start doing interviews again. But I continue looking at your Instagram, and I'll put a little post up so people can follow you. But fuck, you are dealing with some. I mean, just you share with us like some of the great examples of some of the good, your favorite things that you guys have been putting out.
Right now, I've been smoking on some banana trail mix, which is a cross of banana OG and peanut butter and jelly. The grow that I'm working with, they have a bunch of peanut butter and jelly crosses. That's like one of their big things. They've been really successful with a bunch of crosses of it, and I love it. It's really fun. They've got several crosses of purple punch with it that are just really nice and fruity, and they're great with doing the different phenotypes where they'll have the 6 and the 7, where one leads towards the punch, one leads towards the peanut butter and jelly, and they're great about isolating the phenos and then separating them. So if you're going to go in and get kickflip, you have to get 6 or 7, and those are going to be 2 completely different things. The market here is beautiful right now. It's
what city are you in?
Tulsa.
You're in Tulsa, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
And the business is banging.
Business is banging right now. You know, honestly, at my shop, we're $35 eights out the door. You know what I mean?
Good
Just
Lord, really?
of the stuff that I'm showing.
$35 eights
out the door
of the shit that you're putting in your hands.
Yes, $65 quarters out the door.
Man.
So yeah. I mean, and that
I'm
I believe will
again,
get
dude.
better. Yeah, I believe that will get better even.
I can hear my bank account drooling as well, because you know down here, that ain't how
For
shit
sure.
goes. And that being said, that this is just in a matter of 2 years. I'm going to send this fucking interview, this conversation to Governor Abbott, and one of the senator elects, because Texas is a weird state government where they only meet to vote on bills every other year. It's really strange. So a senator elect from here, I believe 2021 is going to be one of them, already put in the paperwork, that already put in the bill to legalize it in Texas in 2021. And
Nice.
Man, I'm so this is how it is. Like we haven't bought a ranch yet, Bully Ranch, and one of the big reasons we wanted to buy here and we wanted to buy a ranch and have the land is to be able to have a business, to be able to grow. And if they don't do it, I don't know that we're going to stay, because it's too stupid for. I want to have the opportunity to I don't know, to smoke a fucking flower that God gave us, for
Ultimately,
all the people that love God. You know what I mean?
the laws need to be written right. You know, the laws here, they took their time and crafted them correctly over a number of years, and it was written by the patients for the patients, and that's why it's been so successful. They've tried to revise it, and every revision has come from big out-of-state cannabis. Like we're talking Leafly. They're trying to spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, to try and influence it to get it into a recreational way.
They opened up corporate offices in downtown Austin. I did. I was reading top 100 new offices last year to working in Austin, and I was just kind of skimming up and down it, and I was like, Leafly opened up here. Went and looked, and sure enough, so they're definitely waiting for it.
Oh yeah, they're big investors in recreational cannabis. So I actually do not trust them whatsoever.
I did not know
they
that.
tried
I'm about to get one to interview on here.
Yeah, they definitely came in and tried to propose a bunch of shit ass laws, like where they tried to take away, because right now currently we can consume in public in Oklahoma. It's you can smoke in anywhere that is a smoking area legally cannabis.
Wow.
So yeah, there's multiple.
You're doing better than Colorado then,
dude. We're fucking killing it. Like we have multiple meditation gardens in town that you can openly, like, you know, they have like weed yoga stuff. I mean, there's definitely like a booming scene coming on of like, hey, we're gonna smoke in public, and that's what it is. So
I even saw in Denver, like, you can't. So it was a show and they were showing how many like Airbnbs have popped up around big major cities in Colorado because there's literally nowhere to smoke. So you can stay at an Airbnb and they have outdoor smoking areas. Because I mean, when I was there last time for a Boulder beard event, and I remember smoking in Denver at my friend's like outside in that area, but I don't care. We do it anyway, unless somebody asks us not to. But it is weird to legalize it and then say, but you can't smoke it anywhere. That's kind of
yeah. I mean, they have to address it. It's like, well,
Leafly?
where do I hit it? You know what I mean? Like,
how does that benefit?
Well, they
Leafly.
Leafly wanted to take the laws away. They for whatever reason, the bill that they crafted, that was one of the things that was an alteration to it was, hey, we don't want you to be able to smoke in public. And I'm like, it definitely got shot down. Another thing was they wanted to, raise our taxes on ours. It was like, no, they're already at 16%. No, we don't need more. If we want more, I want it more on the recreational side. And don't take this wrong, I want to take all the out-of-state people's money just like Colorado did. I mean, that's why they were successful one state away, as they opened up the doors and then took everybody's money. And that's cool because we got terrible roads here. We need shit fixed in Oklahoma. Shit's poor here. So like, yeah, we need the tax dollars. They're definitely taking it from the patients at 16%, and I feel like it should be lower.
So is it only medical that's legal now in Oklahoma, or is it?
That's right. There is no rec.
But you can get a card. You can get.
There is. It's like a joke to get the card. It's like
everywhere.
Yeah, like I've got my fingers are inflamed. I need anti whatever. You don't even.
I bet it helps.
Yeah, for sure it does. It does. But there's zero qualifying.
Yeah.
You don't have to have anything to qualify. So.
I would just be like, hey, well, doctor, sometimes I feel like committing mass murder. I'm not gonna lie. That's our new Bully Ranch T-shirt coming out, by the way, says adopting pit bulls because murdering humans puts you in prison. And then I'm going to make it a Dalai Lama quote.
Nice.
Because I was just doing some little testing, and I'm buying other shirts. I really like this company, Arm the Animals, and they do like kitty cats with bazookas and shit. And they did My Dog Bites Racist shirt, and we buy their stuff anyway. But then I advertised it, just wearing it, me and my wife, and I sold more of their shirts than I sold on mine because I was like, that's the kind of shit I want to write and say. And, some of my board members can get a little scared. And I was like, so now we're selling other people's shirts, and they're putting the kind of shit that I want to put on there. So we had a board meeting today, and I was like, we're going to fuck this. We're going to change this. Although our Wu-Tang Bully Ranch shirt did really well. But what's that got to do with anything? Nothing. So before you were smoking cannabis anyway, and I have a couple questions. I want to start with this. Wasn't one of the questions until I was going to introduce you and I was recording and I was smoking this. And because Leafly says it's a sativa dominant hybrid, and WikiLeaf says it's a 60-40 indica dominant, and it is White Fire OG.
So I know Fire OG specifically.
That's one of the parents, yeah.
Ultimately, with these genetics, they're so convoluted at this point. You could get a pack of 10 seeds, and all of them exhibit a different phenotype of the same genetics. So it's only as good as where you got the seeds from. And even at that, there can be variations in a strain. So trying to medicate is so hard to try and get specific symptoms. There's certain things that are just that I mean, I've definitely have friends who have PTSD, and like if you were to take the wrong type of sativa, it could literally trigger an issue versus help something. Oh yeah. Same as any anxiety type thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like that's essentially the same type of thing. Really hard to prescribe things, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I hate to say even prescribe, it's hard for me to recommend strains to people.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it's like, especially when they tell me the things like this. And that's why it's important to listen when people are talking to us, the bud tenders, like, okay, what are you trying to achieve with this?
Right.
Because we definitely treat it as medicine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I'm glad you should.
Even though, I mean, like a lot of people are just like out to get that high, and you deal with those people too. But like a lot of people are really trying to, coming at me with acute symptoms, and it's like, okay, cool, let's try and I always tell people to buy small amounts to try, you know what I mean?
Sure.
If it's specifically if they're trying to find something like that, like it's tough. I don't know. It could fall either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could,
especially in the 50-60. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I don't mind any either. any of the strains generally that are in that range, I like them all anyway. So this is really how I kind of started getting into it. Was I'm a profession writer, and when I lived in Hawaii, I would just sometimes I was very effective at what I was doing and very ineffective, and I had to pay attention and actually like keep a mental, log of what makes me feel a certain way. And then I started looking at strains, and I could see, well, I don't write well on a lot of really heavy indicas.
Right.
I think I do. I write, and I think they're great. And then when I reread it the next day, and I'm like, why does a box of Twinkies always have to show up in this romance novel that you're writing or whatever? I'm not writing romance novel. I don't know how that slipped in. Maybe I should. But I started paying attention, and then also started paying attention to like what sativas, how I could still like write content, write my book, do all the stuff that I needed to do without taking a nap. And really started playing in that field, so knowing what I actually wanted, because I've never grown up anywhere it's legal. And then over this pandemic, it just started. I get a lot of strains, not me, but my friends do, and they were just like, "Tell us what you think of this. Tell us what you think of this. Tell us what you think of this." And I started smoking them on Facebook Live and talking about them, and recognized how many people. First, I forgot how big Texas is. And so I started getting a lot of people watching locally, a lot of people from the bearding community where it's not legal, and just friends I have from all over that don't know because they don't have bud tenders because they're buying black market. Even a lot of them that live in legal states are buying black market still, which I was surprised to find out that that's like 58% of
There's a booming black market here.
Why? Why is that?
Because hash rosin's fucking $100 a gram in the store. Hash rosin's the preferred smoke of any connoisseur. Nice. So I mean, yeah, solventless fucking dabs. I mean, that's the king.
All right, now you're getting into where I had my questions for you.
For sure, yeah. Let me grab my dab rig. Hang on just a second.
Yeah, please do. This is where I was. When I put up his information, please give JRod a follow. But you'll see he smokes a lot of dabs. I'm also I'm equally as impressed by the equipment he uses when he's smoking dabs, his rigs, because the first time I smoked was with our mutual friend Samuel Bias, and it was many years ago.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And we were in the back of his truck, and there was a motherfucking tool. It looked like we were smoking crystal meth. There were 3 different tools. It was Jessica Ives, me, him, and our friend Roman. Yeah, and I was so high, I didn't know what to do with myself. And now I see that the rigs have gotten much smaller and easier to use, but me and my wife were watching you on one last night because we were talking about rigs. And I was saying how they were a lot more compact, and you just happened to have on your stories last night, you're smoking a rig. And I had my guest last week was my friend Jesse, who's a one-handed, amazing guitar player. And what I never thought about is he was talking about smoking apparatus, because everything's got a fucking hole. What am I thinking of? Every bowl has a carb. And so lighting it and using a carb is damn near impossible with one hand. And I never would have thought of that. And listening to like this certain kind of, and apparently there's people out there that buy them, like they're very one-handed friendly, some spoons and other stems and even some bongs. But watching you do it, we'll just start, because I don't know enough about dabs, and I feel like I'm at a point. Well, I need to have them because I don't know. I feel like I'm smoking a lot of cannabis. What's that?
Potency. Yeah. You got to get that potency up there. So this is one of my pieces. This is a Philpott. This is made by Mike Philpott. It's called a spinner jet. Basically, the way that the down stem comes around, it actually spins the water around in a circle. The idea with them is definitely as small as possible, because you're wanting to keep that hit fresh. You don't want the dab to have any airspace to get stale. So I am a cold starter only. I don't heat up and time my dabs whatsoever. That's just me personally. I only smoke out of American glass. I'm a real fucking snob. The bangers I use are made specifically for cold starts. These are OG quartz made out of Phoenix. They have a really deep bottom, really thick base. They hold the heat really well. I load my dabs cold and then heat them.
I'm confused. Oh, okay. So you're a cold loader.
Cold. I don't heat it up before whatsoever. I put mine in cold, then it gets up to heat. with my cap on, then I'm hitting it.
Now, if you're going to smoke, if you're going to have a hit out of that, how much, what weight approximately would you put in there if you bought a gram?
I'm a big globber, so I'm typically over like 0.1.
Okay.
So that's like a big scoop, kind of a big.
Folks that want to get a gram, you're saying $100 a gram. They're a regular smoker like I am. Like I'm an all day smoker from wake up to go to bed. I'm sure I wouldn't with dabs, obviously.
I typically only smoke dabs. I do hit flower occasionally. This last week I hit a large amount of flower and I smoked an eighth. So like I'm just not a heavy weed smoker. I am a heavy concentrate smoker. Okay. I smoke 4 grams a week, 3 to 4 grams a week.
Okay.
I personally am not paying $100 for any gram ever.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But you're not getting hash rosin for under $50 anywhere.
Wow.
I don't care if you're black market, any market.
Right on.
This doesn't exist.
And so that's mostly why people are still buying black market is because of resin, and that's the only reason is what you're suggesting.
I mean, ultimately, the market here is young, so there isn't a large amount of connoisseurs on the market. I've been doing concentrates for over 10 years personally. So yeah, I'm so deep into it. I've made a bunch of hash rosin here in the market. So like, I'm really into it. That being said, I still smoke hydrocarbon extracts. That would be BHO, PHO. I still do hit those just because of cost. Because I mean, I can get grams of that for $15, $30 a gram all day. 30 for the great grams of the diamonds and stuff, and that's cool. It's not as good as hash rosin, but just out of smoking 4 grams a week, 5 grams a week, I can't afford $300 bills every week. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, fuck that. Well, I mean, I'm spending a lot on flour. That's why I've been thinking a lot about dabs.
For sure. Ultimately, I have a lot invested in my setup, though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like that banger is $190. Like, wow. So I mean, my rig was $300. You know what I mean? Like and that's my cheap rig. So damn. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, but also being in it for 10 years, it's not like it just happened overnight. You graduate into having a large supply of it. It is what it is.
Of course. I think I'm on my way going there. I don't even know where to get it here, to be honest. I'm asking Sam.
There's beautiful glass all over in Austin. You've got amazing artists down there.
Yeah. I know I can get glass. I mean, I'm talking about getting the resin.
Getting the hash. Yeah, that's the problem, I suppose. Well, yeah.
It's definitely here. I was messaged already this week, just when I was talking about it in an episode a couple episodes ago, and I was like, really want to find out more. I was gonna bring Sam on, and then Sam didn't even feel comfortable, although he's the one that got me. He's been smoking it regularly that was 5 years ago or so. So, but when you said you're gonna come on, I was like, oh, Sam's out.
Here you go. There's your concentrate guy, right?
Yeah, let's see. Let's show us the whole process. Show me the whole process.
So basically, here's where I got it loaded. I load it with the cap on it. My cap is directional. You basically spin it after you've heated it up, and that's going to spin it around.
You're spinning up the cap. You're spinning up. Are you lighting it underneath the bubble?
So basically, here it is. I'd have like maybe like a 10-second heat up. You really can't do it without a temperature gauge unless you're doing it this way. Any other way, you're going to need a temp gauge.
That just spins it around in there.
That's just spinning your oil. The idea is to hit as much surface area as possible. You're getting the vaporization from that. This is some Tropicana cookies live rosin.
Tropicana cookies.
So that's water hash made from fresh frozen plants, then squished.
So it's still got the terpenes in it coming out in wow.
Well, you're probably 7-8% terpenes on that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man.
Delicious.
I want to throw my joint against the wall now, dude. That looks so good. Except the last time I smoked, it was a while ago because the Cavs were in the finals, and I was in my neighbor's apartment in Austin, and his dabs guy came over and set me up, and I smoked it, and I launched into such a fit that I was afraid that the legacy I would leave on this planet would be Paul's Law, because I was the first person that cannabis ever killed. And I was like, that can't be me. But I couldn't get up. I couldn't stop coughing for half hours. I remember thinking, my recliner's on the other side of that wall. I just got to go out that door, turn, go in the door right next to it. And it took me about 40 minutes. That's the last time I used like a huge rig. I've smoked it with my homie now that have much smaller rigs. So they can take them with them, obviously. But it's that you've been doing it for so long and you don't seem to have the reaction. Even people I know that smoke dabs cough like crazy. Is that because it's too hot? Yeah.
Well, a lot of it is heat. Since I'm cold starting only, you're getting that lowest vaporization point that you could ever get, and ultimately some of those terpenes are vaporizing at 200, 300 degrees, 400 degrees. I'm a huge fan of lime terpenes. There's one of my favorite strains is Lime OG. If you go in at fucking 500 degrees, you aren't going to taste the lime. So you hit it on the low, and it tastes like you're biting into a lime. So that's the difference in temperatures. You know what I mean? Like the sayings like, you gotta waste it to taste it. I'm sopping up huge amounts of oil every time. I have a Q-tip problem. I have thousands of Q-tips. Just like I'm using 10 Q-tips every time I hit it.
Wow. So what do you do with the Q-tips?
Throw them away.
Oh. Shit.
It's a waste.
So if you're saying now,
I know people that soak them in grain alcohol, and I mean, it is what it is. I just toss them.
Yeah. What is? So if somebody was doing it heat starting, you're cold starting it.
So heat starting is you heat it up for X amount of seconds. Then
before they put it in it.
Right. Then you're going to use a terpmometer or one of those thermometers that is shooting up at the base of the banger to make sure you're at those temperatures. Because I mean, like I said, it's also temperature dependent. You hit it at the wrong temp, you're not even going to get the flavors. You're going to cough. It's not going to be good. Like ultimately, at certain temperatures, you're diminishing so much of what the medicine is.
I love science. God damn it.
Yeah, it really is science,
It totally is. So it's I feel like we're sitting in biology and high again, and you're about to call me out as a teacher because I'm like, what? Wait, oh shit, damn. I wanted to smoke dabs, and now I'm definitely gonna have to do it with somebody on here that knows what they're doing, because I'm gonna be burning shit and my lips probably, and I don't know what the fuck. I'll have to have you back to walk me through dabs.
You gotta have a shaman. You can't just it's not like you just buy this. I mean, you could buy it for sure and experiment and figure it out like that by all means. It is
I'm
a
sure I
rough
can find a
road to
video
figure
on
it out.
YouTube. I'm not. That sounds like an expensive way of figuring it out. I've learned lessons that way before.
Well,
I'm supposed to utilize now.
Easier methods as far as the battery powered options, stuff like the Puffco Peak. It's pretty simple. You hit the button, it gives you that great flavor.
That's the last time I smoked. Last time I smoked was with one of those.
I have one of those. I haven't used it in months and months. The reason why I haven't is now I just carry around my rigs in my car. Like I full on just have a Pelican case that I just have my rigs. Like,
are they? Damn it! Having rigs, having bowls, having all the paraphernalia. So what is that legal as well?
Those are my medical devices, Paul.
Okay, well, I just want to make sure, like carrying around your oxygen, which it is.
Right. My doctor prescribed me this.
That's so cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I want to say next time I get pulled over, because I did this whole thing too. When I started doing that, started doing Facebook Live videos. I'd get people that would message me, "Isn't it illegal in Texas?" And are you worried about it? And I would say, no, I'm white. I'm not worried about it. I've lived all over the country. I lived in Washington, D.C., and I smoked on the fucking porch walking down the street.
Like,
They don't
no,
say
white
shit to
privilege
me.
is a thing, bro.
Yeah, I was like, I'm white. And that became a running, people laughed, and then all that shit was going down. So I did a series of videos with my childhood friends I grew up with, most of whom are black and live all over the country now, and just talking about their experiences with law enforcement, especially like with cannabis and shit, versus where I literally like, dude, I'm a white guy. They're not. I have smoked every bar I've been to in Austin. I've smoked on the sidewalk, walking to them. Like, it doesn't matter. I walk around my neighborhood. A cop pulls up. I'll wave. How you doing? Well, a joint in my hand. And that's just how it is. And so I ended up doing this whole series of videos because their experiences, my black friends, were much different with
I would imagine
smoking. Yeah. So it was funny to me that people were concerned about that. And also Austin decriminalized. So there's not even, before it was a civil penalty. Now there's no penalty. No, they won't arrest you. There's no fines. So as long as you have under 2 ounces, people think I sell. And I'm like, I have a podcast talking about it. What the fuck you think I'm not trying to be a martyr. I'll go down for a weekend, but I got shit to do.
Right.
So what? No, I don't sell it. But I certainly love it. And I love that I have the opportunity to get all these different strains because it's not legal down here. So it prevents us. It's kind of, I had a really good, a good connect when I was first here. And there was a whole, we call it in Hawaii, a HUE, an association of growers throughout Texas. And it was just great stuff coming from a variety of different growers. And then we would get like all this trim for either free or $50 for 3 ounces, and we would bake with, and it was just so amazing. And then my connector went to rehab, and I'm glad he did, but he really fucked my shit up. You know what I mean? But after that, it's people get what comes here illegally, essentially. And if you're getting anything good, mostly it's coming from up north. It's not coming from south of the border. I don't even think weed is a very big, or marijuana or cannabis is a big market anymore from Mexico. It's more heroin and other drugs. But not having the ability to have someone to ask questions to.
Right.
Yeah. So I started doing, I just know because Google. I've been Googling for several years, like, well, just figuring out what I liked, what I didn't like, and kind of how they fit into their own compartments, and really focusing more on what I could operate effectively on. But having someone is it literally is like talking to a pharmacologist of cannabis, and not just cannabis, but all the parts that come along with cannabis. Not just the flower, the oils, the keef. Like, I'm smoking keef now. A friend brought back from Portland the joint I have now. I've been smoking it like crazy since I got it day before Thanksgiving, and it's really great. It's now I'm like, can I smoke pot without keef? I'm going up these steps, and I'm like, well, damn it. But what was it like, considering it's only been legal for a couple of years? What was your entry?
So it was
into the world?
At first, you can imagine being anybody that's as deep as I was, there was a bit of apprehension of like, they're going to pull the rug out from under our feet at any fucking second. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Like, that's what it felt like at first. I was hesitant upon getting my license. I think my 2 years is up in, I think I was April. So in April, I have to do my renewal, which is like $140, I think, for the next 2 years is what I end up having to pay. But yeah, I went to the doctor. It was pointless. You know what I mean? Like, he literally, his first words to me were, "You don't have any questions for me, do you?" And I was like, "Yeah, when do I get my card?" So I got my card, and I quit my job, and me and my buddy started Boomtown Extracts, solventless extracting. So the whole goal was to make the best hash rosin possible. Truly a passion of mine is making it. So we did it. People want it wet looking. People want it to look light. If you can get it to look like white putty that's glistening, that's what you want your hash rosin to look like. It's hard to do that. It doesn't just do it itself. So it's all about the process, and it's not like it's hard. It's just a process, and you have to figure it out. So ultimately, it's all there for you if you look for it on the internet. But like information firsthand isn't free either. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna just go from place to place like, hey, this is how you do it. But like, yeah, like it's kind of secretive in certain ways. It's kind of sharing in other ways. You know what I mean? Like, the community is small. That's really into hash because it's so expensive. It's getting bigger, but it's hard for people when they see the $15 gram to want the $100 gram until you're into it. And having made it, you definitely become into it. And then I truly believe that at the low temperatures, you can taste small things that you wouldn't taste at higher temperatures. So like I become critical of certain things. There's only certain BHO brands that I'll smoke at all because you can taste chemical type stuff. It's all in the process of how they're doing it. And there must be a perfect way to do it and everybody else's way, because like there's only one company in the state that I even like their BHO at all.
Well, I imagine a lot of people are more on the rush to get it outside versus the quality product side, which is I would hope that it would be different in the cannabis industry, but I don't expect that it would either, because I'm sure. I mean, I've watched.
There's a lot of rush. There's a lot of rush, and there's a lot of backwards business going on right here right now. There's a lot of shady things. There's a lot of bugs and test falsehoods, and I mean, one of the testing companies just recently got shut down because they were falsifying tests. All the tests, I don't believe them, for the record. Whenever there's things that have tested higher than they ever have in the whole world here, you know what I mean? Like somebody needs to be testing the testers.
I've heard. I just read an article too the other day, like some growers selling it to stores and moldy weed, and
mold's real bad here for sure. The powdery mildew is a bad thing. The mites are a bad thing. I mean, Cookies, which is a major California brand, just came here. They opened up a Oklahoma City store. I saw somebody with a receipt that said $1,000, and they got 2 ounces. It was broken all up into 8s. They bought like all their different strains or whatever. They waited in some crazy COVID-ridden line to get it. And then I saw videos of people posting bugs in the flower.
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, Cookies basically paid for multiple grows to get their strains. They partnered up with multiple local grows and gave them their cuts from California. And then they're producing them. And ultimately, so it's not like it's some crazy new technique or new growers that we haven't seen before. It's new cuts by old growers, which is fine. I'm not buying into the hype for $1,000 for get out of my face with all that. You know what I mean? Like, that's hype boy shit. People want their runts. That's who created runts. That's who created London Pound Cake. I think. I don't know. They created a bunch of different strains. Gary Payton was one of them. Milk cereal. A bunch of these hyped out strains. Runts is their biggest, but like. Yeah, so people all went over to Oklahoma City and waited in line to get it. Like, just straight up custies. You know what I mean? Like, being a bud tender, you see so many custies that it's like, wow, sometimes. But, like, that's wild. You know, people drove from Tulsa over there to be those custies. So I guess they're coming to Oklahoma or to Tulsa too. So, I mean.
I was reading. I had I can't think of the strain now. I think it was Mac 1, Miracle Alien Cookies.
So that's a Capulator. That's
well, they made. That's the only one they'll let. They only picked one grow that could grow there. That's how meticulous they wanted to be about it. I read it. I was intrigued by because that would mean less output, right? But more control over the end product. And that's what my thought process was. Is that why
major genetics person, Capulator. So he's not from here. But his product is all over the state by means of he's sold seeds just by the hundreds, and very popular genetics, about as popular as exotic genetics. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're one of the best. But yeah, just one of the big names in the seed game, and all over the state. Mac is all over. It's crossed with fucking everything.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We got it down here, but I definitely know.
I've had it was orange
pricey.
Cookie Mac. I've had Mac 11. I've had Mac. There's just so many. Mac and cheese, Cookie Mac, Sunset Mac. I literally had every fucking Mac that you could ever fucking imagine. And it's cool.
About to move to Oklahoma and shit just to be able to say, I mean, I'm getting all these strains in. Well, like I said, I get what I don't have the option of having the wide selection, which I think everybody should have because it's a fucking flower. And
personally, the stuff that the flavors that I've tasted that's really been insane lately has been something called Honey Boo Boo. Man, it's like a grape Tropicana type cross.
You talking about a flower, or are you talking about a
concentrate? It's just beautiful hash rosin. Some of the best I've ever had in my life. A lot of good grape strains have been going around, like Grape Stomper, Grape OG, Grape and Cookies. Cookies is a great mix with everything. Usually that's Girl Scout cookie mixes. Those are, GMO has been really huge here. That's just taken over the state. I don't know if you're into GMO. That's garlic cookies.
No, I haven't had that.
Honestly, changed the game. As far as how popular it is, it tastes like garlic, or like just a real gassy funk garlic. That's why it's so popular, is because it has its own savoriness and funk that is exclusive to it. It's that really took over the state, because there's a ton of just garlic sherbet, garlic crosses that people love. Wow. That's a terpene profile that's very popular in the state. Is that another one's that GG4 took over before that? It's like that was kind of like the predecessor to the GMO, like, because that's kind of the same thing.
I did a review on that one a couple months ago, and right now I have Forbidden Glue, which I thought was forbidden fruit mixed with Gorilla Glue, because it's a dark purple flower, but it's not. It's a different flower. They just called it that because it looks like forbidden fruit. But Forbidden Glue, I have it over here to do a review of. I like Gorilla Glue, and I really, really like forbidden fruit. I enjoyed that one a lot.
GG4 is a great classic strain, for sure. I'm an indica guy. Also, I'm both. I
am both, but I like indicas in the eve. I smoke a lot less indica because I start smoking it like after I had dinner, and so I'm so fucking old now, and I'm not, because there's no going out or anything during the pandemic, so I'm getting up there like 5 o'clock every morning, and I'm asleep by like 10. And so I just smoke less by nature, and I always end up like, I got 4, I think, indicas over there to still review, but I don't have any sativas to review whatsoever, because
sativas are very popular around town.
It's indicas here in Austin.
It's both. I mean, it's honestly both. It's like, you'll think. I mean, I like both. Like I said, I like hybrids, indicas, and sativas. I believe it's probably a little more indicas, but like. You'd be surprised at the amount of people that just buy edibles that aren't strain specific. I mean, that's a huge crowd of people that just want that THC.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which way it goes. It's just.
I have all 3 in my fridge right now that are sativa dominant or indica dominant, or one that's a complete hybrid. And I eat them depending on what time of the day it is, or what my major function is. But I don't know. I never used to care, but usually if I was eating edibles, it was more of I was giving all my attention to eating edibles, whereas now I'll eat edibles and I'm still doing some other shit. So I have to understand what the results are going to be, how I'm going to be, depending on what I'm doing. So for me,
if anybody's just trying to anybody trying to medicate, you really need like strain specific. We do have some gummies that are like straight up a variety pack that have hybrids, indicas, and sativas all in the same packs.
That's what I get all the time, but they're I mean, they're all different colors.
Color coded,
and I know
right.
I know the baker that makes them. So
Like edibles are cool. They don't really work for me on a financial level. They do work. I just need just mega doses because of my tolerance is what it has to be.
I get it. Oh, dude, my wife eats the head off of a gummy. She did last night, and I ate like 7, and I got high, but not that. I'm telling you, this is why I'm wanting to take that next step up the rung into dabs. And I've taken a few days off of smoking. I don't want to. And it doesn't really kick me back. Like, I haven't eaten edibles in a week and a half or so. I ate them last night, and they're 15 milligrams each, supposedly 7. That's a lot. I ate 6, and I was pretty high, but not like not as high as I was the first time I ate edibles. I probably had a cookie. You know what I mean? A little cookie. So
for me, I'm not really feeling anything under 500 milligrams. Like, just
damn.
I just don't even feel it. Like and honestly, you could get 250 milligram doses in town for $40-$50, and at that point, it's like, wow, I'm not even feeling it. So that's why I said it's just not financially even a thing. I did have a pretty decent edible experience last week on some RSO. I was able to score some RSO super cheap. I'd never mess with it. I ate the whole syringe worth, and I was fucking twisted.
What's the RSO?
It's a concentrate. It's basically, I think it's a short path distillation that they do.
Is it the distillate that you add? You just add like a banana or something?
It's like that, but it's the way they make it, I think, is they basically extract it with alcohol. It's a real basic type of extract. It's usually gross looking, like black. I think anybody can do it at home. It's like a real basic extraction method. That's why I never was into it, because I'm like trying to make the best concentrate. So like making one that's black that you eat definitely was not my game, But like it definitely has some validity to that method, because man, I got lifted off of it. Like I couldn't believe how strong it was.
There's a woman I follow on Instagram also. And I can't remember her name, cannabis housewife or cannabis, whatever. And that's all she does or most of the time is use the, and it always looks gross. And she eats it a lot on like a banana or a piece of fruit several times a day. And so I reached out and was like, are you making this yourself? And she said she was getting it legally in a legal state. Because I was just curious. I wanted to ask her, like, I wanted to have her on and talk about how she makes it. They do look gross. Looks like, like it's like diarrhea coming out of it a little bit.
Black.
And it's but she's they're really strong, are very high concentrate, and it just looked simple to me. That's why I was like, oh man, it looks easy to just put it on a sandwich, put it on something and eat it. But you could say it's easy to make.
Yeah, they say it's pretty easy. I think basically you just cook it down with some alcohol, and it basically just distills off of it. I think it's just basically turns it into oil. But then, the alcohol just cooks right off.
Yeah.
And you use like the food grade alcohol, you know what I mean? Not like ISO, you know what I mean? Like you use like, full on, what is it, Everclear or whatever. Yeah. And then like, I believe they cook it off with that. I haven't really looked into the method because like I said, edibles have never been my thing, and I never had them work, but then like randomly got a hook up on a good syringe and was like, man, this is powerful medicine. Very powerful.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well. I think you've almost talked me into coming, because it's a lot closer for me to drive to Oklahoma than it is to drive to fucking Colorado again.
Not that I could do that, because that's against the law.
What is it? Not where you
are. Totally, I can't give anybody any meds. Like that's like super.
No, well, but I can come to your store.
No, you'd have to get and this could happen. You could get an out-of-state license. They have an out-of-state license.
I never think about that, but yeah, I would definitely do that. And
I believe it lasts a couple months, and it's straight up like they call. I've seen them a couple times. They're called temporary, maybe 6 months.
Good that you brought that up, because I was like, what do you mean? I'm not coming
so in that way, you could just straight up drive to the border and just pick it up legally.
Yeah, that's way closer than Colorado.
Since we share the border, I think it's only available with border states, maybe.
So do you still have your brand going?
No, not at all right now. Currently, I haven't been washing at all. Just bud tending, which is I find to be extremely satisfying work.
I would imagine.
Really, really fun. It's just love it. When you really help somebody and like recommend something that really helps their life out, that's that's an amazing feeling. You know, if you
Yeah, it
help
is.
somebody put on some weight or something, or help somebody sleep, like that's pretty awesome. Like I really haven't had that in any of my other jobs. So, and when they come back and tell you about it, and they're like visibly happy, that's very rewarding. Like beyond
Yeah,
anything I've ever
I
had.
would imagine. I mean, it is medicine. It
It's
is,
it's
and
actual medicine help. Like
yeah,
I don't think I'm a doctor. I don't think
right.
I'm a fucking stoner. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking real. Like it's like I'm a stoner that wanted to perfect getting high and like making it right for me. And like I love sharing my experiences with people because everybody has their own thing. It's not like everybody's.
Sure.
I can't expect somebody to like, hey, the only way I'm gonna take my medicine is in my $800 bong. You know, like that's not it. Like there's hundreds and hundreds of ways. I'm not
Sure. And
just I'm a
I
connoisseur.
guess
This is my shit, you know.
I'm
But like,
searching
hey,
to find
there's
all the ways.
right, exactly. Just trying to figure out which way works for me the best, and then I'll share my experiences. You know, like straight up. I still like pins. Like those are very convenient. I feel like that changed the game for almost the entire industry.
Yeah.
It has its validity as far as like if I'm medicating on the go, there's not much better. You know, if you need to be discreet, there's not much better. And
No.
there's
I missed mine. I haven't had it. I don't
there's
remember.
live rosin carts in the state, so it's not just you're not just stuck with distillate here, you know.
Mm.
So it's these multiple types as far as there's CO2 extract, there's the full spectrum live rosin ones. There's just tons of options. It's cool.
Well, man, I appreciate you doing this, JRod, and I would love to ask you already. I hope you will come back on again.
For sure,
Especially,
bro.
I think I'd like to have you on when I do dabs, and maybe me and Sam Bias and you can walk us through it in a way that's actually, if you don't mind, a functional way where people can watch it and say, okay, now I could
There's a
perhaps try
real
that too.
basic method that I like for a time dab. What is it? 30 on, 15-second heat, 30-second cool down. Yeah, 15-second heat up, 30-second cool down. That's just a real basic one, but it's really it's gonna vary with every banger, no matter what. But yeah, only quartz for me. I don't smoke off metal. You know, like just flavor town, flavor savor. That's all I'm caring about, really. Is
Right.
making it taste right, and because I make it taste right, that makes it like not harsh.
Yeah, it is definitely hard.
It has
I
this
would like to
crazy
experience.
misconception where people are like, "Oh, the shit fucking killed me," and I'm like, "Well, then you fucking did it wrong."
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that I did it wrong. Not because I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And nobody was really walking me. They
It's
might have
science.
been. I might
I
have been.
mean,
Yeah, there was no. It was eyeballing, and I'm not sure I was even listening. I was too busy choking.
there isn't some international stoner guy that's like, "Oh, this is how you fucking do
No,
it." Like, this is the only way, and this is, you know, yeah.
no, but with the legalization, more and more states, all of our states, goddamn, at least it gives us the opportunity. It gives the general person on the opportunity to talk to a live person versus, like I said, going to Leafly versus WikiLeaf, and I get two different answers to the same question, which isn't a question because they both have the strain listed. So
We're still dealing with that shit up here too. Honestly,
yeah, and I'm very
we
grain
all
of
go to the
salty with
internet
it.
for
Yeah.
all the information. You know, it's all off the same thing. Like I like a European site that gives me the most
Yep.
seed information, breaks
That's what
down
I was
all.
about to say. I said when the sites I trust the most are the seed sites, and they're
Yeah.
European, usually
Yeah.
from the Netherlands, and they all seem to be in consensus. It seems
Right.
across. I'll look at a couple different ones.
Seems like they're more on the same page as far as like where the things came from and what
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, no
totally.
doubt.
So I do but like I said, that it can only the information can only improve. The knowledge will improve as each state allows people to actually use this as a medicine, and and just the whole plant of hemp, for God's sakes. I mean, I'm a writer.
Yeah,
I don't want to fucking use paper
I
for my
honestly,
books.
I don't think I even want to leave my state at this point. I know that's
Wow.
wild. I just I went from wanting to move away to being like, well, okay, so I'm just gonna just fucking retire here because like as soon as I step off of the state line, I'm all of a sudden I'm a fucking criminal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Well,
what
I
the
get
fuck?
that.
And
I
like
get it.
it's a fucking plant from the earth that I'm not doing anything but drying, like, or washing with water. And you're gonna tell me that it's somehow some fucking crazy drug that like I'm breaking some kind of crazy law? Go fuck yourself. Like,
Well, don't we also have cannabinoids in our receptors?
right. My
So
endocannabinoid system definitely wants to say, yeah, those are supposed to be here, you know, like
Right. This is working out how it's supposed to work out. And that's why it was a great TikTok guy I saw. He's really big, and I follow him on Instagram too. And he just tells like things to make your like better life hacks. And he was talking one day, and really quick, he was talking about, seen an article that said cannabis enlarges 2 parts of the brain, and he went into the article and he started reading it, and he's like, the way the article was written is, yeah, it does, and it makes it sound almost unhealthy. And he was like, but here's the thing, it explains what it enlarges, which nobody knows what these parts of the brains are because there are some weird name of the part of the brain. He said, but here's what those parts of the brain do. The first part, which is called, some of the Latin terms, is your feel-good center. It enlarges with cannabis because that's what was supposed to happen, and it makes you feel better. You know how like cannabis takes the heaviness off of a lot of things and releases the stress. He said the second part of your brain that gets larger, and it's called the term for it, he said that's your empathy center, your compassion center, where you see other people as humans versus as whatever label you want to put on them. That's the zone where you see other human, empathize. Those are the 2 parts of the brain. The article doesn't say what they do, because then it would be all of a sudden a pro-cannabis article. But it was just great. In fact, I did a whatever it's called, where I did one right next to him, and I didn't say a word. And then it got shared like 30,000 times because that list, the Black List XYZ, shared it. And I was like, so the one video I got that went 30,000 times, I don't even say a word in, the motherfucker. God damn, I don't say shit. I just sit there and look at him agreeing. But whatever, I'll take it. And I like that site also, the Black List XYZ. I bring it up a lot just because they do a very good job of consolidating and aggregating information. I mean, I learn a lot from that, from the stuff they do. And I shared with them like the Senate elect that wrote the law, and I even sent the bill to tag them on the bill, and they shared all that. So
nice.
It's cool to see a lot of people. So I assume a lot of people are sharing information, and they're just aggregating it. And I like it. And I also laugh because a lot of people get mad at them if they talk about politics. And I don't necessarily agree with them all the time, but it's funny because they're like, cannabis is politics right now. Like, you can't not mix the two, especially what's happening if we want to get it federally legalized.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to take it. And I totally see that too. But man, speaking with you, dude, I feel like we just talked to like a professor. And I would love to have you back on and be a professor again, because I'm now more curious about dabs, and I know less than I thought I did, and I'm totally okay with that, because I'm totally gonna go on this thing. I'm gonna go in a rabbit hole. I enjoy rabbit holes. I'm stoned. That's what fun of being stoned and going down rabbit holes is. And I'm gonna be looking at about weed, and I get that with you about, like, I haven't had a podcast in 7 years, and people have asked me to do them, and facial hair club, and all. I haven't wanted to do one until I started doing this. And cannabis has always been just something I've been passionate about in my life for 30-something years that I use for a purpose. Even when I didn't know I was using it medicinally, I was using it medicinally.
Right.
And just to have that like engagement, and this is something passionate about that's always has been there. And to be able to do something with that and have people like I'm helping them. And I don't think I know shit, you know what I mean? But right. Compared to people that grew up in Texas, I know a lot more because I've traveled a lot. And
I'm learning every day, Paul. Every day.
Yeah, me too. That's what I tell everybody.
I'm
like every single day. Every time I see a new strain, or I see, because to me, it would think like if you're working for a place that's growing, this is just I'm getting like chicken skin now, because it's like scientific experiments with adults with fun, like something that you're like, yes, like what could this be, and what if we take this and mix it with this? And to me, that like I get hard on, you know. I mean,
it's an exciting time to be in this industry.
Yeah, fuck yeah, sure. It is, man.
For sure. It is changing constantly, and we're leading the way in a lot of ways. I mean, it's like I said, that worst to first is no shit. I mean, like we literally had more women behind bars for cannabis than anywhere in the world. Becoming legal. And it's like, wow, or medicinally legal, where I can have it in my fucking car. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, like I said, I was ready to leave the state. I was so fed up with it, to now it's just it's a growing community that's just a beautiful thing with like I said, over 200 dispensaries in Tulsa County. I mean, there's over 5,000 grows in the state. We have more dispensaries than California. We have more grows than California.
Wow.
I mean, like, yeah,
That's incredible.
It's incredible. And to think that if we could go full rec, what the future could hold. I mean, we're setting up where like all
Is
us,
that up on the ballot?
Well, no, because it hasn't been written right. Like the last one that came through, it just wasn't written right. So it really has to be good enough for the people. You know what I mean? It has to be written by the people. That's ultimately it. And I don't know. It's probably the same guy who wrote the last one, because I want it specifically just for out-of-state tax. That's what I'm like. I'm pro rec. I think that it's a valid thing to use it recreationally. I mean, if you're going to tell me that alcohol's a thing, then I'm going to tell you that marijuana is a thing too. And
Sure.
yeah, it does give positive neuro. You know, it definitely makes me feel good. So like, yeah, you can use it recreationally.
Yeah, I get high. I like getting high. That's one of my biggest likes about cannabis.
I do know about obviously I know about the medical benefits too, but I am gonna tell you I like to recreationally use it because I'm just keeping it real. It is what it is.
I didn't smoke weed the first time in high school because I thought it was good for me. I wanted to get fucking stoned, and
because I wanted to listen to the fucking Grateful Dead, and it sounds better when I'm fucking high.
Hey, I grew up playing in a fucking hardcore punk band, and I was so stoned on stage because state dependent learning. So every time we practiced, my bass player sold cannabis. And so we were always high. So I couldn't get the mic out of the mic stand one time. We're like, what kind of hardcore band you're so stoned and you're carrying around a mic stand? And it was all because I liked getting high. But at the same time, I don't know that I recognized, I didn't understand the science behind it. I'm still learning about it, but understanding more that there was benefits I was getting out of it that I didn't necessarily wasn't my intent, but I was getting them. And there were reasons that
they're there for sure. The benefits are there.
Yeah, because my body was reacting well to it. So I think it's one of those things I just love. I love learning about it. It's not like I don't feel like I'm forcing myself to learn. It's just coming naturally, and I get to talk to great people like you. And then I'm like, okay, well now I got to go down a wormhole. And wormholes are great when they're about cannabis or DMT or mushroom, whatever. They're all good. I enjoy them. I don't enjoy necessarily sometimes when I have to check the contraindications. Then I'm nervous. Like, what did you do this weekend, Paul? What have you done? Now you're checking to see if this drug is going to make you die because this drug. Don't do that, kids. That's a young kid's game. That's a young man's game anyway. It's not my game anymore. I don't do more than 3 drugs at once anymore. So that's just how I live my life.
That's good. Good way to live. I personally definitely agree with you on the mushrooms. That's some awesome natural medicine also that's helping out a lot of people right now because of some laws changed also. So it's amazing that's at the forefront of medicine to me right now. Well, as far as because I don't know if you know this, but you can breed mushrooms as far as different strains. So think about that. There's only been so many that have been discovered. So now you're telling me that I can breed this mushroom with this mushroom and I can get different effects from those. Well, then we don't know anything about what we're talking about.
It's like the beginning of the hybrid game right now. Right. As far as mushrooms go, exactly. Was it Montana? No, what state? Washington or Oregon legalized or decriminalized all drugs, but legalized psilocybin therapy, which is fucking amazing.
And if you took it with a guided therapy, we're talking major results you could get.
I bet.
Unbelievable. You could change your entire life. Anything that you've got going on, they could change it, like full on.
It's such a great reset. And in fact, I have capsules over there right now that my friend makes for microdosing them. And even when I do that, it's still like, I don't know. It's like wearing those sunglasses where you keep flipping it up and the color gets brighter and the color gets brighter. And that's just with like the microdosing. And when I really want to just have some, I don't know. It's incredible. It's always been something I've liked. I loved acid back in the day. It's a really big time commitment these days. I'll take it on occasion.
Microdosing is a real fine line between being effective and being I'm going to a festival, because like the line is so small, when we're talking about 0.3.
Oh, I had to figure it out, bro.
4.
I had to
what I mean? That's and it's going to change per strain. So I mean, like those doses, like yeah, it can be effective medicine at microdosing for sure.
Yeah,
Like
I like it.
Tons of benefits that they haven't even started. I mean, they're just now starting to figure this stuff out. It's so cool, so
It is
interesting.
fun. I love it, and I'm open. My therapist knows because they just started a center opened up here for. Oh God, my head went blank. Ketamine therapy.
Yeah,
Also,
I was just thinking, there's ketamine therapy all over Oklahoma too. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so I'm interested in seeing and very interested in. I brought it to my therapist, and I forgot. I said, I was like, do I have to get a referral, or how do I sign up to try that out? Whatever. Anyway, I gotta go, JRod. I loved having you on.
Good talking to you, Paul.
This is the best educational. Good to see you too, man.
For sure, bro.
I fucking hate your mustache.
Yeah, it's big.
I know, dude. It always is. The only thing I have on me that grows that fast, I think, is my ear hair. Every year it grows faster and faster, but my mustache goes terminal. But it looks great, dude. Especially when you don't have the beard. I'm just like, God. Even your beard though grows like.
Yeah, I've shaved 4 times this year.
That's what happens when you smoke good strains.
Right.
Winning. That's why he never shared it with you guys, because he didn't want you guys to know to get on the good foot. Start smoking, concentrate.
I'll show you what patience is.
Right. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's the cold start. Maybe that's the secret. The cold start. Shit just I don't know, man. It looks great all the time. I'm done growing mine out anymore because I just love syrup too much. God damn it. And I just get tired. Mine turns into like I have a perm. Things get weird. I don't know. But thank you, man. I hope you come on again. Bud. This was fun. And I'm gonna stop recording right now, but then I'll say goodbye to you.
Hi, bro.
All right. And I am back. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed that conversation with JRod Rizz. JRod's an awesome dude. He's like the fucking professor, right? Shit, man. I feel like the one thing I really learned during this conversation was I have so much to learn, and I'm great with that. I love learning about cannabis and everything surrounding this wonderful plant and this flower. So anyway, that was a lot of information. I'm super stoked about having JRod back on and smoking some dabs. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time, so that'll be fun. And getting back to what I started this whole thing smoking was Whitefire. OG. And I have noticed, as I mentioned with JRod, there's an awful lot of contradictory information out there on different apps and sites, even regarding strains. And the best that I found that are in consensus or agree the most are seed sites, mostly European ones, that'll agree and you can find out good information. But it's something that can be studied. It's something to learn about, especially if you're using it medicinally like I am. That's why I put so much attention and think about what I'm smoking, because I want to know how it affects me, and I want to smoke what I enjoy the best when it comes to Whitefire. So when I started off, I told you guys it was gassy, earthy. That is definitely the flavor profile, the terpenes in it. Now, after I got about halfway down, I started smoking. I could taste some of the BB Smash, the keef that I was pouring in here. And so that definitely changed the whole flavor profile. It got me stoned. The first half of the joint, like I said, after I had puffed it a couple times, I could feel that pressure. I was high. It's a really, really good, it's a strong high. When I say it's a strong high, what do I mean? It is all-encompassing. My whole body feels it, from my tippity top of my head underneath this hat. I can feel the little ball on top of my hat touching my scalp, down on my tippity tip toes. Full body high. I don't feel all gassed up, energy-wise, like a green crack sativa. And I feel like it's almost like a perfect combination, whether it's 60-40 indica dominant, 60-40 sativa dominant. I don't give a I don't care. It's good. I'm high, and I feel like a really good, strong high, a good high where I'm gonna go chill with my wife and eat some goodies and do not a whole lot. Just have fun, have some more laughs because I like to laugh. Scientifically, that's good for you also. But for all you guys out there across the lands, if you can get your hands, White Fire OG, put it in your face. Hope everybody has a good week. I'm sure I'll see you throughout the week. Do me a favor and smoke cannabis and do good things. I'll do the same. Much love. Peace out, yo. Strain on Society.